Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to America's Racing League tonight, and welcome to round one of the new and improved Formula USA Championship here on Automobilista 2. Tonight we're on the East Coast for the Security Solutions Grand Prix of New York. We are at Watkins Glen, an absolute gem of a circuit, a personal favorite of many. Tonight we'll be racing on the 2.35-mile Grand Prix layout, where the entire second sector is named after feet and shoes, which is a bit interesting. I'm Jack Mays, who will be talking your ear off this evening, and as well, I'm in charge of making sure the pictures look as pretty as possible and the racing action is in sharp focus. So bear with me, I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of hiccups, but no need to worry. It's going to be a good one for us tonight. It is round one, as I said, the first of 8 rounds in this championship so far. And I hope you're ready for some racing action, because I am as well. We're already a couple of minutes into qualifying. A lot of our drivers ragging it around the circuit, getting those tires up to temperature for it's a little bit of an interesting qualifying session. It follows the true IndyCar qualifying layout as best as we possibly can manage here at AMS2. The first 10 minutes is the full field qualifying. After that, the final 5 minutes is that fast 6. It's not a separate qualifying. It's not staged fully, and timings don't reset. So those of you who are IndyCar fans might find that a little bit confusing, but that's okay. We're doing our best we can here. So join us for the first couple of laps. Ready? See, we're on board with Sean Stewart, our Security Solutions Man of the Hour, as we're going to call him, and our host here on ARL, getting ready to start their first lap. And we'll see as the times start to drop in. We're looking for quick laps. These are quick cars after all, something in the 1:30 30s, I would gander, perhaps a bit quicker. And we have some incredibly fast drivers, some veterans of this championship. I myself raced in it during its inaugural season, Season 0. And I'm retired because I couldn't hang with these guys, so I figured it'd be better to sit up in the box and talk instead. But this is an absolutely fantastic circuit. I would say one of the most famous circuits in the U.S. And home to IndyCar, home to IMSA, home to just about every major racing series here in the U.S. that you could possibly imagine. Aha! I've spotted it. Times have started to jump in. Thiago Lorena, and it's no use being the drivers so far to set lap times. Sort of jump in and out of the timing screen. We're looking, well, I was right. Sub 130s for these quick drivers. Lorena, and it's no use. Very, very quick in these cars so far on these first flurry of lap times. And let's see if we can, let's see if we can see what else is going on the track. Yolotli is, it's a bit of an inauspicious start to the season. Well, they're in the wall and back into pit lane. They do have time to go out again, have that damage repaired magically and mystically. Let's see if we can find a driver getting ready to start a lap and maybe go on board with them just a bit, get you familiarized with the circuit as a whole. Let's see if we can find somebody that's not in the bus stop. I believe it was Thiago Lorena who put in that lap first, so I'm going to assume they're at the head of the field. So we're going to go on board with Thiago Lorena here. They're sweeping through that final sector, the shoe bit of the circuit, as I'm going to start calling it tonight. Oh, well, I said we were going to go on board with Thiago Lorena, but they pulled over and decided that was it for their first lap. I'm sure a lot of these drivers are just single-filling the car for a lap, going out on those really quick, slick option tires, blitzing it, and jumping back into the pits. New tires, new fuel, as Sean Stewart goes very, very sideways and very, very backwards. That's at the exit of turn 7. That's toe corner. It's a very tricky uphill hairpin. There's a lot of, it's mostly sweeping corners around this circuit, and a lot of them can catch you out if you're not careful. Now let's see. I believe I'm still going to look for somebody who's getting ready to start a lap. We're on board with Elbow. They're going to join us for the lap. And coming to... Well, I was going to say join us for a lap. That's not the greatest start I have yet seen to a lap. Bit wide into turn 1. A lot of traffic. No private qualifying. None of that nonsense here today. It is just a straight up fist fight. It's all about finding track position. It's all about finding your space. And a lot of qualifying is figuring out where you want to be on track. And I think Elbow is doing that exact thing, sort of backing off, you know, keeping heat into the tires, of course, but maybe not going for a full push lap, dropping off the back of certain other cars. We're on board now with Tiago Lorena. We're maybe going to see what it looks like going through a lap with them. Our current P2, our front row starter, getting ready to wind up the mighty V6 IndyCar power unit to cross the line. There's a little bit of jitter on this camera, and hopefully, bear with us, hopefully that sort of stabilizes through turn 1, the 90-degree corner up towards the S's. I think lap 1, this is where our eyes are going to be fixed on the circuit, because it's probably going to be 2x2 almost all the way up. Fastest part of the circuit coming up. Super big braking zone for the bus stop. Sort of want to take enough curb, but not too much to force you offline. But Lorena didn't seem to be too unsettled by that amount of curb, taking that down through the outer loop corner, down towards chute and turn 6. Keeping it easy on the power. It's all about, there's no traction control, no ABS in these cars, so it's down to the driver in the box to manage their way around. No spins at the exit of toe corner for Tiago Lorena. See, coming down early, brake about the 150 meter board for heel. Going around about to turn 9. Oh, they might be backing out just a bit. Maybe not. Not 100% sure, but that was very early on the brakes, maybe a bit late on the power. There's another driver in the wall just ahead. That doesn't phase our current second place sitter through the final corner. We'll see if it is going to be a lap worth timing for Tiago Lorena. They crossed the line. It is negative improvement for Lorena. That last lap, well, it doesn't tell me, but that's okay. A little bit of traffic coming out on exit, but not to worry. I'm going to jump back on. A lot of drivers in the pits already. We're running out of time for them to set their qualifying laps. There is only about 1.5 minutes remaining for the non-Fast 6. Our current Fast 6 standards is It's No Use, Tiago Lorena, Jeff H77, second place merchant, Sloth, who, well, I would say isn't living up to their name up in P5, and currently Sean Stewart. There are several drivers on the bubble, including Pacheco, Piper, and Deploy, only a couple of tenths off the back. Hopefully, they are going to be able to improve. See, open up the track map. Well, there's yellow flags everywhere, is all we've learned today. Qualifying is an absolute blitz. Most cars sort of in the pits thinking that that's all they can do. A couple of drivers, including Yalatli, who we saw in the wall very early on in the session, not putting a time as it stands, but is quite tight in the top 10. 2 seconds between Deploy and 10th. And It's No Use on the pole. Speaking of It's No Use, running just a tad bit wide through turn 8, well, the exit of turn 8. And as a retired a retired Formula USA driver, I can tell you these cars are an absolute handful. It's one thing to drive them. It's one thing to get them around any given circuit. It's a whole nother to drive them at the pace of some of our drivers. We have ticked down behind that 5 minute. If any of our drivers are currently on a lap, they are allowed to finish. We'll see. Not a lot of movement so far for the top 6. They're all in their pit boxes, getting ready to await their go. Lorena entering the fray now. Hopefully not gonna, well, I should say hopefully not to get impeded, but they shouldn't on their outlap. There should only be Lorena and, well, Sloth Stewart Merchant. It's no use. And second place Merchant, if he decides to exit his pit box. We'll see if a couple of drivers can improve into that top 6. See Matty Ice coming down the back straight, well, the start-finish straight. It's a bit of an improvement, but not enough to jump up to any meaningful position. I think next across the line is, well, it was actually Yolakti, who did jump a couple of positions. Didn't set a time, but managed to jump up a handful just before the end. We have Les Paul coming across the line. Is it an improvement? It is a huge improvement, but just outside that Fast 6 bubble. But a good start for the LPO driver. See if anybody else, it's still Deploy, could possibly get ready to go, as It's No Use sets the fastest lap of qualifying so far. That Fast 6 is getting even faster, and Deploy getting ready to come around. I feel like Deploy maybe is doing a few too many laps, but, well, there's a lot going on, a lot of numbers in front of me, so who can say? Hopefully once they cross the line. Well, now they've jumped into the Fast 6, so can't say for sure what that means for Sean Stewart, the Security Solutions driver. Well, it might just be a Fast 7 here in round 1. Still working out a couple of kinks, of course, but that is all good. We'll see. I'm sure the drivers will sort this out. But it's currently No Use still on the pole. Is it any use for any of these other drivers to try to match their time? Well, I would say it absolutely is. It's Jeff H. on the second step right now, heading down towards the bus stop. And a much tighter line than the one we saw for Lorena, only taking that inside, or that second curb there. I think the first and third maybe upsets the car too much. Maybe it forces it offline. But those slick option tires have a lot more grip than we'll probably be seeing. This is the quickest these cars will be pretty much all race. The only thing we're lacking is the push to pass, which I will explain as best as I'm able before the race starts. So each cars are equipped with a push to pass system. It is 200 seconds allotted per race. If you hold that button, you can hold it for up to 20 seconds. It gives you a boost of about 50 brake horsepower. So nothing crazy, but if you're trying to get a move done, maybe on a straight, maybe close up a gap just a little bit before a braking zone, that is a great time to do it. But that is only activated during a race session. So no push to pass in qualifying. Jeff H. More further improvement, getting closer and closer towards It's No Use. And it seems that only 5 drivers left on the circuit. I don't think any of them have any time to go any quicker. Tiago Lorena is going to be the next to cross the line. We'll see where it is, if it's any amount of improvement. Actually, I believe that was their outlap, because they went in and came back out. So beginning the final time lap for Tiago Lorena, 9/10 between them and pole position. Can they pull out 9/10? Well, they've got about 10-ish corners, 8-ish corners to figure that out. And second place Merchant crossing the line next. Possibly another outlap, possibly an invalidated lap. It is difficult to tell with the tools I have available, but nevertheless, still some action. I was going to say It's No Use is about to cross the line, and he does. Puts even further distance towards the end of qualifying. He decides, that's it. That's all this car has. That's all I have within it. It'll be Lorena next to cross the line. Going through tow corner. Trying not to spin up those rears, not to spin up the car in the potato machinery. I don't know if it's potato powered. I'm going to assume not, because, well, that's far too many horsepower for a potato to make. And that's the end of the qualifying time. So it's just going to be Lorena and second place Merchant These laps will be their final. Whether they validate it or not is up to them. Here comes Lorena through the final corner, running it all the way out to the wall. Powering down onto the straight. It is an improvement of about half a second, but not enough to jump any further positions. What can Merchant do? A couple more corners remaining. Not a whole lot of time to gain. Can he do greatness in the final corner? A short shift on the exit, if I heard that correctly, and crosses the line. And well, don't actually know if it was an improvement, but that's our qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. It's No Use is on the pole. Jeff H joins them on the second row. Tiago Lorena in third. Sloth for second place. Merchant, fifth position. Morn Deploy in sixth. Stewart, 7th. Pacheco, 8th. Les Paul, Obsession in 9th. Piper in 10th. Matty Ice, 11th. Randy Magruder in 12th. Gabriel Prado, 13th. Rafafa in 14th. Elbow in 15th. Trucks in History. I'm a fan of that name. I'm a fan of Trucks and History as well. In 16th position. Groove Armada is in 17th. Degouche, 30. 18th. Deucebuck, 19th. Ryan Fisher in 20th. And Maurielis 10 in 21st. Zigzag Bruno in 22nd. And Iolati in 23rd position. And, well, Oslavisa Donkey is talking about a coolant leak. I'm going to guess they had their engine turned up too much, because you can blow engines very easily if you have the boost turned up just a bit too much. Well, now it's, well, it's not long now before the race. They just have their formation lap to do. As I said, It's No Use is on the pole. Last time for drivers to prep their cars, make sure their setup is right, make sure they're starting on the right tire, taking an appropriate amount of fuel. I can pretty much guarantee, well, I can't pretty much guarantee, I can absolutely guarantee that they are full of fuel. One of the other, let's call it regulation changes in this new season of the IndyCar, the Formula USA series, is the fuel burn has been increased by, I think, 3 to 4 times, depending on the race. The previous season, you're mandatory to change tire compounds during the race. That is part of IndyCar standards, as well as this series standards. And the races sort of turned out that it was a two-stop race almost always. There was never really a whole lot of tire strategy involved. And this level of fuel burn, we're going to get about 17 to 20 laps estimated on a full tank of fuel. It's going to make it so it is still going to be a two-stop race, but there might be a little bit more strategy involved, a little bit more, maybe some fuel-saving tactics, maybe some tire-saving tactics as well. And those option tires, they may be quick. They are the pick of qualifying for sure, but they do not have the life that the primaries have. I imagine most drivers are going to elect... Oh, we're good now. Nothing happened there. I'm sure it's all fine. But I'm sure most drivers will elect to start on that primary compound. Well, I say most drivers would elect, and actually I personally was a fan of starting on the options. You know, make some moves early on in the race, have a bit more grip than the others. But there's no way to really know who's picking what. Normally you could tell by the sidewall, but in some of the AMS2 quirks involves that once you put a tire compound on the car, it's just sort of that's what it's gonna render. That's what it's gonna show. So as you can see, because everybody did qualifying on those red-walled tires, they're all on red-walled tires. It's No Use leading the field on the formation, savoring the lack of speed, savoring the moment, calming themselves before everything begins to go off. 25 cars on circuit. Mind you, the 26th car, that is the safety car. So if you're looking on the track back and you say, hey, there's 26 cars, for whatever reason, just AMS2 things, the safety car is considered a car on the standings. So all 25 drivers did make it onto the circuit. No drama just yet. We've got about, I don't know, 2 minutes before the drama really begins. Maybe not even that long. All these drivers maybe thinking about putting some heat into their brakes, thinking about putting heat into their tires, considering their race start. Am I going to go balls to the wall? Am I going to take it easy, play it safe? I think our pole sitter is thinking, there's no one ahead of me, there's only drivers behind me. Let's get through the first couple of corners. Let's stay in the lead and do as best we can. A lot of drivers furiously weaving, wanting to get any temperature they can into the tire all the way back. They know this is their last proper straight, last proper opportunity before the green flag. I gotta say, it is nice seeing this sort of rainbow of Indy cars. A couple of custom liveries, some designed by our very own Trangies Designs, and some of them look quite good, including but not limited to, of course, the Security Solutions car in the Security Solutions Grand Prix. It's no use winding the final corner at the slowest he's gonna hit it all day. Hopefully, the lights are getting ready to go out. The lights are out for the first time this season. It's a bad start for It's No Use. Oh, it's massive carnage in the background. I'm not sure who that was. Rafava's got a bent front end. Hold on a moment. What just occurred? I think somebody didn't launch with the rest of the field and got absolutely clobbered. We're going to stay on the leaders just for a moment. But it's a total parking lot at the back of the field. It's no use actually maintaining the lead at the beginning. I think the race has already been neutralized. It is a full course yellow, I'm going to have to guess. Oh, Zigzag Bruno is 50-50, bottomed out on a curb. Magruder's going slow. Ryan Fisher is missing most of their IndyCar at the moment. And there's Deploy. I think that was the car that went airborne at the beginning of the race. Missing most of their car, having to retire. We've already lost many cars. And, well, I'm not really sure what to say, except for I had a feeling there'd be drama, but that was a lot of drama. But it is a full course yellow. The safety car has been deployed, that 26th car waiting at the exit of turn 1, ready to pick up the leader and whoever, frankly, survived the beginning onslaught. Couple of cars electing to pit. Second place Merchant already going down pit lane. Maybe got a bit of damage from the start. Maybe deciding to change tires, change strategy during that safety car stop. It is a bit of a shorter stop, technically, when you do it that way, though you do end up losing a lot more positions. So it must have been, hopefully, was a necessary start. As we have the Corvette safety car, very appropriate for IndyCar. And, well, normally I'd say, oh, look, it's a ZR1, but I'm not actually sure if those canards are proper. Yes, I'm discussing the feasibility of whether that's actually a proper ZR1 at the moment, but I'm sure they got it right. I'm sure I just got it wrong. Not the biggest Corvette nerd, but I will say, if that is a ZR1, that does have the most horsepower of any car on this field, which is incredible. Over 1,000 horsepower out of the factory, that car. And these Indy cars, not quite 1,000 horsepower. They're closer to the 600-700 horsepower range, depending on their state of tune, and also whether they're hitting that push-to-pass button. Still have a couple of drivers in the pits. I think DeGoosh 30 and Magruder got the worst of it in terms of damage. They have new tires, but they're just having to wait that damage And drivers who've raced an AMS2 would know better. Well, would know the feeling if they've crashed. You just kind of sit there and watch the repair sort of slider slowly tick forward, slowly get closer and closer to complete for when you get to go out. But the Goosh and Magruder, I'm sure, hoping that they could get out ahead of the safety car, then they could sort of feed into the back of the pack and not lose as much time, both of which are on the move now. They're getting ready, rounding final couple of corners. It should be another lap before the racing begins. One more full lap, get the field nice and packed up tight before the green flag. Most likely. But, I mean, what else can I say other than big drama on lap 1 here at Watkins Glen, and well, no, safety car is in. Restart will begin any second. It's down to It's No Use on when he wants to go. He decides to go now. A good start from Jeff H. Good reaction. And Tiago Lorena's thinking about it up the inside of Jeff H. Runs him wide, runs him a bit out of circuit. Jeff scurries back onto the track, hoping not to lose any further positions, but it's Lorena up 1 on the restart, but it's no use. Still leading. Stewart is up to P4 in this race so far. Maybe thinking about a move, getting in the mirrors of Jeff H. Les Paul making a big start. One of the few cars maybe not involved in the carnage, up a handful of positions, up 3 positions from the start. Sloth dropped down just a little bit, and it's a bit of warfare in the rear pack. Got a couple of cars so far still sort of holding firm. Matty Ice now chasing down Sloth, maybe thinking about a move, maybe thinking about laying on push to pass towards turn 8. Well, Sloth actually elects to go defensive, but leaves room around the outside. Matty Ice runs wide. Rafafa there to pick up the pieces. Oh, Rafafa, I'm going to assume has a functional enough car, because that looks like a lot of damage. But hopefully it's just visual, because that car seems to be tracking straight and true as it's forced a little bit wide by Matty Ice, but does get through. And we'll see what it looks like on the return trip down. Both drivers trying to find track position where they want to be for turn 1. Matty Ice decides to try it around the outside, running wide, but it is a clean go. You can, in fact, run the circuit that wide. As I'm seeing a couple of our drivers in the YouTube chat talking about being caught up in that early incident. Yeah, that was, I could really only describe it as hard to avoid from pretty much any standpoint. Another car, I realized, second place Merchant, he did take that early pit stop and is making the best of it, trying to make their way through the rear of the field up to the mid of the field. This was a driver that was in our Fast 6, qualified towards the front of the field, must have gotten involved in that early incident, had to take that early pit stop, and is now down in 15th position. Matty Ice is now trying again to chase down Sloth. I think this is a bit of a 3-way fight here that we might be sitting on for a little while. Jump back on board with Piper behind Armada. Groove Armada, that is. But only a couple of cars. I was going to say, these two, Magruder and DeGoosh, who took that early pit stop, they weren't able to catch up to the safety car pack, and it's now pretty much a dogfight between the two to determine who has the right to 19th position. Elbow is dropped back just a bit. Oh, Pacheco's actually in the pits already. That's surprisingly early. Grabbing a new set of tires for sure. Maybe he took a little bit of damage. Maybe he's on an off strategy. We'll see how that plays out as we get going later into the race. It looks like Sean's keeping Thiago Lorena fairly honest in the early stages of this race. I feel like I'm looking at the lap time, and I feel like it should be lap 10 with how much drama and how much action we've had. But no, it was just that, well, pre-turn 1, calamitous moments. I can't even think of the correct adjectives to describe what I saw, but it certainly wasn't a slow race or a slow start to a race here at the Formula USA Championship on America's Racing League. And more disappointment in our YouTube chats, more words of frustration, and as a retired Formula USA driver, I feel like I'm going to use that line a lot. Not that it means a whole lot. There's a reason I don't drive the cars. I know what it's like to practice for a race and have it end really before it started. In any sim, that can be tough. You put in a certain amount of time into a race, a certain amount of time practicing, and it's sort of all taken away from you. But my best piece of advice, shake it off and get after it next week. Second place Merchant all over the back of Deucepock. Thinking about it in the bus stop, maybe it would be very, very brave to try it in there in almost any car, especially something as fast as an Indy car. And we'll see now that gap on the top right. You can see it. I know these two are close, but I don't think Merchant's gonna really be able to clear anything in this first sector. Maybe line up a move for turn 1 and Deploy in the chat now saying that their car just launched up into the air, which is the car I did see that went suddenly airborne. And interesting. Not sure if that was a physics bug. I'm not sure if someone drove into the back of you. Granted, it all happened so fast, didn't really see much. Merchant now coming on to lap 6, the start of lap 6. Still working their way through the field. A couple drivers have already stopped. Jeff H., the first to box. Maybe those option tires can only last but a handful of laps. Began on it, tried to make headway, wasn't quite able to. Came into the box. It's no use. 8 seconds now to any drivers behind. A bit of a statement piece to start with in this season, but we are only 7 laps in. Things can change. We've got plenty of fights going on. Matty Ice is well, all over the back of a lot of drivers, making up a lot of positions, showing a lot of patience, I must say, to be able to work your way through the field like this. It's very tough. Everything happens so quickly in these cars, and, you know, especially if you lean on push to pass a little bit, you get into the slipstream, you're like, oh, but I could go for it in the braking zone here. And to know your limits and the limits of the car that you're fighting in order to make a clean move, takes skill, takes patience, and takes really good car control, especially in machinery such as this. We'll see now coming towards turn 1. Matty Ice thinks about a move, doesn't quite think about a move there. Both drivers running very, very wide. And a bit of discourse in the chat, figuring out what exactly happened at the race start. Hopefully, maybe, I'll have an answer for that by the end of the race. Because, well, it was the first big incident of the season, and I'm afraid to say it's probably not going to be the last. Here's Matty Ice thinking about it around the toe. Not doing there, maybe brushing a little bit wide on the exit. There's Les Paul, the car ahead. Both drivers running maybe a little bit too wide at the exit. These cars can be so loose on power. I was saying that, and Les Paul gets a little bit loose on the exit. Very fast corner coming up towards the final. Drivers give each other space, show each other respect. Matty Ice maybe knowing that that wasn't the place to make the move, but Prado now looking hungry in the background, stepping out. Just briefly, we have Sean Stewart in the pits now, being the next to probably, I would gander, come off of those option tires. And on to the primaries, or they could be running low on fuel already. Maybe not taking full tanks, or maybe my information about fuel burn is a little bit incorrect, or I'm reading it wrong. I am always of the mind that if something feels weird, blame the commentator, blame the broadcaster. And I think the lap 1 incident has been put down to a connection issue. And it seems that there was a bit of driving into the back from some drivers. It seems there was a connection issue for deploy, where he deployed, I don't know, the under-firing jets and just launched straight up into the air at the start of the race. Carnage, carnage, and more carnage. But so far, post lap 1, some good, clean, fair racing from a lot of our drivers. And it's still, I was going to say it's no use leading the race, but no. Already electing to take their pit stop. Tiago Lorena has taken lead of this race. Running an alternate strategy for sure. Maybe a bit of an overcut on a different set of tires. It is possible. Tiago Lorena started with more fuel and primary tires, where It's No Use started with less fuel and options. Those options did give him a huge pace advantage in the beginning, but will the alternate strategy pay off? We'll know come the pit stop for Tiago Lorena, which should be in a handful of laps. But it's Lorena, Sloth, Prado are your current top 3, with Les Paul, Matty Ice, Groove Armada, Jeff H, second place Merchant, It's No Use, and Sean Stewart rounding out your top 10. Here's that big fight in the midfield. I've sort of been keeping my eye on Jeff H, one of the quickest guys in this car in this session after his pit stop, scything through the race traffic. Just got past Matty Ice there after breaching Groove Armada. Groove, though, is up on Matty Ice. Matty Ice maybe taking the pit lane a little bit too easy, maybe running a bit wide, but Matty Ice is in the pit lane. Jeff H now up to P4, showing a lot of pace. I'm wondering if some of these drivers are option at the moment. I sure wish that AMS2 would get an update that fixed the visible tires on cars, because I must say, would make my job a whole lot easier. The field, as you can see on the right, has spread out a reasonable bit, except for this pack here. Oh, that's somebody in the background. Oh, it's Les Paul, who's re-entered the circuit into the back of Groove Armada. A big moment for him coming down the hill. Must have locked the rears or something in tagged groove coming back onto the circuit. Hopefully no driver has too much damage to worry about. But a big moment for the two. I think that answers our question. I think Les Paul Obsession, the LPO driver, has a bit of damage. That car seems to be a bit unstable, a bit crabby, and it's a limp back to pit lane. A really great start to the race, but these cars can be so tricky to control, especially on a fast sweeping circuit such as this. A lot of elevation change, and if you can get it a bit wrong, it goes very wrong. It almost feels a little bit like a street circuit with how close these walls are to you in a lot of places. Well, Watkins Glen initially was a street circuit back in the 60s, but now it's a permanent location here in New York. Well, that's probably going to be a fairly hefty stop for Les Paul. And I'm just curious about the current fastest lap of the race. It's actually held by Jeff H., who's been hammering the car so far. Well, I say it's Jeff H., that's who I can see. That would be Jeff H. And I feel like I might be losing my mind, but it's no use. Appears to not be in this session anymore. It's no use. Might have had an incident. And I can't say what might have caused that. We are down a handful of drivers since the race start. That's, well, not really the way you want your championship to begin from It's No Use's perspective, but from Jeff H's perspective, from Thiago Lorena's perspective, from all the other very quick drivers at the front of this field in the race, from Sloth's perspective, there might be a race win that has suddenly come on. But Thiago Lorena now, the car leading this field. After the stops began, Lorena on an alternate strategy from certain other drivers. I think Sloth's on a similar one, hasn't been in the pit lane yet. Jeff H., though, has gone down pit road and is been quickly closing on the leaders, scything their way through traffic. Groove Armada finally now going out of the pit lane after the tag from Les Paul. Les Paul also on the move. Fresh tires, fresh fuel, a fresh mind to hopefully not repeat the mistakes made a handful of laps ago. Everything's really beginning to spread out here. Strategies are putting cars away from each other. The pace of some drivers outweighing the pace of others. It's Lorena, Sloth, Jeff, Prado, and Stewart. Your top five as we're 14 laps into this Grand Prix presented by Security Solutions. And I think now might be a good time to mention, if you're interested in joining us in some of our events here in the America's Racing League, head over to SimGrid, ARL, America's Racing League on SimGrid. We do also have a Discord where all the information is put out regarding, you know, what we do, things that we're up to. Come chat with people. It is a really solid community that's starting to be built here. Well, I shouldn't say that's starting to be built. That's been being built through the blood, sweat, and tears of some of the wonderful staff that keep things rolling. We present races on, I was going to say, that's Sloth coming down pit lane. Lorena's still going, maybe has an extra lap or two of fuel. or of tire life, but Sloth from P2 is in the box. Jeff H still carrying on. Closed about 4 seconds in the last handful of laps. But as I was saying, America's Racing League presents races on both PC and console. ACC on console, LMU, AMS2, iRacing on PC. Lots of events to be involved, to get yourself involved in. And hopefully, fingers crossed, if I have something to say about it, streams, broadcasts of races will become more frequent. Right now, just beginning with the Formula USA series. Hopefully branching out to other AMS2 series, maybe to some LMU, maybe to some iRacing, maybe to some ACC. We'll see in the future. These are the beginnings, folks. And these are the beginnings to, I think, what's going to be a good championship. The alternate strategies already playing fit. Thiago Lorena still leading after It's No Use rather mysteriously disappeared. Well, Thiago Lorena no longer going to be leading the race in a couple of moments. Coming down pit road for the first time this race. And Jeff H actually following in that moment. Maybe seeing fit to do what the leader is doing so they can stay on the same strategy. Tire change for Lorena. Tire change for Jeff. We'll see who got the quicker stop. It's Jeff H. Lorena's still stationary. Oh, they come out of the pit road at the same time. There is no collision on pit lane, so they're going to have to sort this out on pit exit. This is a weird scene here. Jeff H gets the better launch. Lorena maybe electing to drop back just a bit. Hopefully not force any weird and strange collision-based errors. But it's G Prado now, leading the field in the 7-Eleven livery. Which I can't believe I only just noticed it. That's fantastic. Big fan of that, I'll say. Don't know a whole lot about IndyCar. That could be just a genuine IndyCar livery, and I wouldn't know. If it is, awesome. If it's not, awesome. Livery's great. Very cool stuff. But Prado taking the lead of the race on the 16th lap. Stewart 4 seconds back. And then we have Jeff H, Lorena, and Sloth, who Sloth's maybe looking a little bit racy on Lorena. Sloth going for a bit of an undercut on the former race leader. And I believe we just lost another car. The tick just went from 19 to 18. I'm not sure who we lost at that moment. Hopefully, well, there's really no hope. It's just, well, they're gone. Hopefully they stay in the race. As a reminder for anybody who's listening while driving or anybody who's planning on joining. Oh, there's Prado in the pits now. And, well, I was going to say, Jeff H dispatched Prado and Stewart by the good old undercut. For those of you who are listening, those of you who are interested in joining this series, it is worth mentioning there are some differing rules and regulations. Hold on. It's a safety car. That could be why Prado, Stewart, Sloth all decided to go in, top up on fuel, not lose too many positions. That, oh, we're another car down. Is there anybody stationary on circuit? It doesn't seem that way. Clearly, whatever incident happens was a biggin. And it seems, yeah, Pacheco, the car in 9th position. The black and gold Changi's design livery car. Love a black and gold livery, I must say. That livery almost puts me in mind of the Haas Rich Energy Formula One car from 2018. But probably not the intention. I don't think anybody rightfully would want to copy that design. Outside of myself, I do have I did create a rich energy car in LMU. And if you ever see that car, it's a Jetta LMP3 car. If you ever see that car, run away. Run away. Because I can't drive that thing. Well, this is our second safety car of the race. Unaware of the incident that caused it. But whatever it was a big one to bring out the Corvette safety car. My guess, though I have no way of knowing because the AMS2 full course yellow safety car system seems to sort of change its mind every time it comes out. I would assume it's going to be another full lap, but because they've been going around for long enough, I think, following the pattern of earlier this race, the safety car will be in this lap. Let's see. The safety car is in this lap. It will be Pacheco taking the restart, hopefully giving way to the faster drivers behind. Pacheco takes that very early, gets comfortable away from Jeff H. A little bit of shifting in the background. There's Prado and Sloth fighting it away. Sean Stewart getting a bit tangled up in the field of, well, some are lapped cars, while most are lapped cars. There are no blue flags in IndyCar, mind you. Neither car is required to give way, just encouraged as it's 2x2x2 wide going into the bus stop, and hopefully everyone keeps it clean. A little bit of rubbing in the rear. I think that's Matty Ice putting a car very wide. I think that might have been, I'm not sure, that was Matty Ice on perhaps Magruder. Matty Ice up to 4th position in the blink of an eye off that restart, clearly making room, making headway. I think some argy-bargy in the bus stop for sure. Couple of cars going slowly. A bit of damage, looks like, for Sloth. But another restart, another successful restart for a lot of drivers. Very successful for Jeff H. And Tiago Lorena managed to stay outside of the melee, clear the lap traffic as quickly as they dare, and carry on in this race further, beginning to start the 19th lap of this Grand Prix. And it's Jeff H, this sort of, well, I shouldn't say the surprise. I know this guy, I've raced this guy. This guy's really quick. But if I had to put money on somebody, it would have been on It's No Use, our mysterious, who made a mysterious disappearing act in the earlier stages. And I'm wondering what tires Lorena and Jeff are on. I would assume the delta of the option tires versus the primaries, I would assume that they're both on the same tire. Sloth is back in the pits. I think I spotted that damage correctly. The Splendamobile jumping into its box. And we have Deuce Pack in the pit lane as well. A couple of cars may be facing a bit of damage after the race restart. And I think P7, the fight for P6, I should say. Well, it wasn't much of a fight. Prado sort of ducked out of the way, perhaps, of Piper. Maybe knowing that there was a bit more pace. Maybe Prado. Well, Prado looks like they may be carrying a bit of damage. That 7-Eleven car looking a bit bruised and battered. Not sure if that's cosmetic. Not sure if that's... Well, that looks like damage. Quite a bit of damage. Couple of cars feeding back onto the circuit, coming out of pit lane. Sloth's just now coming out. Stationary for admittedly quite a long time. This was a driver in contention for the podium, if not in contention for the win. That safety car restart not going well for them. Down to 14th. Looking to make headway, come back into this race, make up a couple more positions. They have a ways to go. Maybe their strategy can bring them back in. We are reaching closer and closer towards the halfway point of this race. Jeff H. leading the field. Showing poise, showing passion behind the wheel of his Formula Indy car. Formula USA car, I should say, according to AMS2, because of course they don't have the license to call it an Indy car, but it is, to you and I, an Indy car. We've just surpassed half distance, 21 out of 42 laps. Couple of fights happening throughout the field. It is interesting seeing lap traffic going up against race traffic, because here's Matty Ice chasing down a car that is not obliged to get out of the way, but this is not a race for position. See how they sort that out between the two of them. And I think they're just going to sort of work together. The pace delta maybe not being so huge between the two of them. And Matty Ice, from a pretty unassuming qualifying position, had a really good start to this race. Had a good safety car restart. Had two good safety car restarts. Is up on the podium now. About 17 seconds to the next car, being Thiago Lorena in second. And a good near 10-second gap to the car behind. The next to bring the fight to the top is Sean Stewart, edging closer and closer to Crazy Mitten's head. Getting ready to start another lap. See if there's going to be a move into turn one. Jinx out, gets in the mirrors. Doesn't quite get in. With how fast these cars are, it's almost it's unique for sure. It's a unique bit of motorsport. I'm most familiar with sports car racing, be it GTs, prototypes, hypercars. And everything is sort of a bit slower and a bit quicker in some ways, where you don't see as much traditional racecraft in these cars. Oh, late move from Sean Stewart into turn number 8. Sorry, turn number 6. Maybe having some more grip from an alternate tire. Maybe having some more confidence on the brake pedal. A lot of lap time in these cars can be found on the brakes. As I said earlier, as a reminder, no ABS, no traction control, just the driver's left and right feet to bring these Formula cars to heel. Sean Stewart up another position to P4. Next target, Matty Ice. Usball making a reasonable comeback after the early race biff into the wall, crabbing back to the pit lane, stationary for quite a while. Unfortunately, still not on the lead lap, but showing reasonable pace, catching Mayor Reels. The bus stop is dealt with so quickly in these cars. It's a bit impressive, I must say, that we're still held on to as many drivers as we have. We've lost About 9 cars out of this field, down to 16 from 25. Many drivers still in the pit lane. Very smart. If you do stay till the end of the session and you're still in pit lane, results will be passed out. Points will still be passed out depending on where you are, where you were when you crashed, what position. When you DNF'd, I should say. Not all of them were a crash. Maybe the engine blew up. I don't know. But, you see Maurel's the car ahead. Getting around. I'm going to believe that's Matty Ice. That is Matty Ice going down pit lane. The 21 car. Maybe not robbing too much time from Les Paul. You see the gap behind. Sort of been holding firm around 1 second between these two. But we'll see. Maybe there's going to be a difference in the first sector. Got a hood view. This is the US after all. I don't know what a bonnet is. I know what a hood is. Not that these cars really have a hood. A bit of a mistake from Maurel's braking early, not having the grip. But Les Paul edging closer and closer to the top 10. Through the beginning of the second sector, well, beginning of the third sector, excuse me. Losing out a bit more to Maurel's, but no, it's corner by corner. It's seeming to change between the two. Could there be a bit of push-to-pass deployment? Can't say for sure. Another driver has just disappeared off the board. 15 cars remain. Oh, that's push-to-pass deployment, all right, from Les Paul. That sort of sudden burst of acceleration is a bit wide for Maurel's. In turn 1, they're going into the S's now. Is Les Paul going to consider push-to-passing to get by before the bus stop? They're thinking about it. Maurel's goes defensive. And we actually have Sloth joining the fight. Is that Sloth that just jumped on through? It actually isn't. That would be, I can't say. Not sure what driver that was, but that was very tactical. Was that, it was, I was going to say, that was of course, the security solutions man himself. Sean Stewart tactically using the slipstream of Les Paul as he was getting past Maurel's, as he's dropped another position to Sloth, using that to jump through. Keep ahead, not lose time. Our leaders in the pits. Jeff H. Lap 24 is his next stop. Maybe running out of grip, maybe running out of fuel. He's been running a different strategy from Thiago Lorena pretty much from the outset of this race. And Maurel's, or Maurel's, I'm not sure. I'm probably going to go with Maurel's. I feel like that makes more sense. I'm adding letters that don't exist. Dropping positions, maybe a different tire strategy. I think that's Matty Ice going down pit road. No, that wasn't Matty Ice going down pit road. It was Maurel's. Should have known. The next car. I was going to say Les Paul probably feeling good about being in P9. But we know Sloth is quick. And Les Paul, maybe a bit of a sitting duck here after the mistake. Oh! Having a bit of a moment. Having a big time moment for Les Paul coming through the bus stop. I saw he got a little bit unsettled, but couldn't settle the car back in. I think there's quite a bit of damage on that car. A lot of steering lock. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. She's Something's very broken for Les Paul. Took the long way through the escape road. Maybe considering re-entering the racetrack. But a big yellow flag. Possible safety car deployment, I'm not sure. Oh, Mayo Reels! Oh, big into the wall. That's coming into the S's. And that's a retirement from Mayo Reels. There was a car stationary there for a while, and I thought I might check. But big into the barriers, a big moment for them. That's, well, they're missing most of the body panels that can come off of the race car. Oh, who is that? On the wall. It's Crazy Mittens, I believe. They were running quite highly, running on the podium every once in a while, but that's some more crabbing from these cars. They're so fragile. They're so highly strung that as soon as you have a moment, as soon as you have an incident with the car, it can be catastrophic. Mittens now having to, well, it's unfortunate having a moment like that at the start of a lap, because you gotta then take a really, really slow in-lap and avoid the best you can causing more damage on their way back through. It's good news for Piper. Not having to race too hard, not having to work too hard to get back a top 5 spot. Thiago Lorena's been leading the field now for a handful of laps after Jeff's pit stop. I do think it is going to be decided on strategy. I think Jeff H., we've seen him at the front almost as much as we've seen Lorena, is running mostly an option-based strategy. Was that a wheel? That might have been a wheel in the background of, Oh, hold on a moment. Oh, I was going to say, I think a wheel came off of Crazy Mittens' car. And once you lose a wheel, it's pretty hard to keep going in. Sean Stewart now, the next one having issues out of the bus stop. Yellow flag in that bit of circuit, but keeps going again. Doesn't seem to have as much damage as some of the other cars we've seen. Maybe just an innocuous spin. Hopefully kept it out of the wall. That could spell doom for their hopes of a podium in this race. We're now down to 12 cars. Les Paul has been in the pit lane for, let's call it, a considerable amount of time. It did seem like there was a considerable amount of damage on his race car. And Jeff H., possibly proving my theory about the tires, going quicker and quicker, chasing down Lorena. Not much between them, 12 seconds. Can be gone in a flash. Let's take a peek. Maybe we've, oh! Say now, that shakes things up just a little bit. You can see on the right side of your screen, the top right, that is a 10-second time penalty for Thiago Lorena. That's a speeding in the pit lane infraction. No stop-goes, no drive-thrus. It's pure time penalties. That really changes up the way this race looks. The outlook for Thiago Lorena, they might win on circuit, but they might lose due to time. A couple other penalties doled out. Piper, another car with a 10-second. A 15-second for Elbow, a car in P10. I was checking to see what the fastest race lap is. It's still home to Jeff H. About 5/10 quicker than any other car at the moment. But that is a big swing for this race. Groove Armada on Magruder for 8th position. We'll see how that gap ebbs and flows. As they move through the sectors. Oh, that might have been a tap of the wall for Magruder. Possibly a tap of the wall for Groove Armada as well. But fortunately, nothing broken yet. The gap is coming down big time. We'll see how it looks coming down towards the bus stop. Maybe a bit of push to pass from Groove Armada. Clears the car of Magruder. Coming into bus stop, but Armada a little bit slow mid-corner. Seems like Magruder not fighting that one too aggressively. Possibly alternating tire strategy. Alternating tires yet again. Lorena is now in the pits. I've just noticed. A bit slow on the uptake here. I'll get better, I promise. Lorena's in the pits, which has released Jeff H. back into the lead of this race. We'll see where Thiago Lorena comes out well clear of any traffic, so no issues there. But it is it's leapfrog. There's no other way to describe what this race has been between these two combatants, these two rivals. It's been leapfrogging. Their hopes for a race victory were altered when it's no use. DNF'd this race, and Lorena took the lead at first, but strategy brought Jeff H back into the fray. Nearing the final 10 laps of the race. It's Matty Ice dealing with a little bit of rear race traffic. It's Magruder and Pacheco. The the Rich Energy inspired car. That's what I'm going to call it. Even though probably is. It could be. Chasing down Magruder. We'll see what they're able to do. Coming up the toe. Racing down towards the heel. This corner can be an overtaking spot. Possibly not in Indy cars. But I have seen a good move or two in GTs. Seen many a good move between GTs. Oh, it's Pacheco sizing it up on Magruder. Will we see some push to pass deployment from Pacheco into turn one? It's a defensive move from Magruder. Differing on the brakes. Can Pacheco get a better exit? A short shift for Pacheco. We'll see if there's any deployment used here. Maybe a change of pace. Definitely looks like some push to pass. Wondering if Magruder maybe doesn't have a whole lot of push to pass left to use. Or it could be they don't have any at all. If they did forget to bind a boost button, no push to pass for you. But Pacheco now up to P8. We're in the final 10 laps. 9 laps, excuse me, of the race. Jeff H is leading. The real question is, does he have another pit stop? Does Thiago Lorena have another pit stop in this race? Between the two of them, there isn't a whole lot on pace. There is that 10-second penalty hanging over Lorena's head. 17 seconds on circuit at the moment. 27 seconds, 26 seconds on the timing. There's still enough race distance to go. There's still enough time to trade between the two of them. I'm going to guess Jeff's on a good old set of primary tires. Tiago Lorena on the options. There's a big pace delta. Multiple seconds a lap. In fact. Matty Ice still holding on to the final podium position. A driver who, let's say, didn't impress in qualifying all that well, didn't make the impression of a lot of other drivers, but on the restarts, where it's counted on during the race on circuit, has had the composure to just grab opportunities when they're faced, minimizing mistakes as best they can. Brief yellow flag in Sector 2. Not sure what would have made that happen. But Lorena now, I was saying, might have been on the option tire. There was a big delta. Well, the delta's swung back. I think what we've learned is that the relatives, let's say, aren't perfect on this section of the circuit. Because suddenly he's gained 3 seconds in a couple of corners, which Tiago Lorena is fast, but that would be unbelievable speed to be able to pull that off. But Jeff H. comfortable out in front, knowing that that 10-second penalty could decide this race. The pit lane delta is about 35 seconds, give or take. Jeff's in the pit lane. Will Lorena stay out? That is the question. Lorena does stay out, is going to retake the lead of this race. 7 laps remaining as they cross the line. Jeff's moving again. Let's see what the gap is. Once they're out, it's not massive. Certainly not a minute and a half. That will come down. That seems a bit more like it. Maybe a bit more than 6 seconds. But it's not far. It's within 10 seconds is the important factor. If Lorena can make it on fuel, Jeff needs to stay within 10 seconds. The reason I say that, it's that 10-second penalty for Tiago Lorena. May decide the race. Sort of hope it doesn't. If I admit, I feel like it's a bit less dramatic. It's a bit less entertaining when a time penalty wins or loses somebody a race. But we'll see. Racing is all about fine margins. And if that margin is a couple kph, a couple miles an hour faster than the pit speed limit, those are the margins. That could decide a race. "12 cars now remaining in this Grand Prix. 12 cars remaining in round 1 of the Formula USA Season 1 here on America's Racing League. And just to remind you, just to inform you what the rest of this, I gotta say, pretty darn good schedule we have lined up. This will be a weekly series every Tuesday here on America's Racing League on YouTube, possibly to other platforms in the near future. But know that we will be here. Next week, it will be at Kyalami, a personal favorite circuit of mine. One of my absolute favorites. I'd say it's my favorite African circuit, which it might be the only African circuit that I'm truly really aware of. That is next week. The following week, we will have our first oval race at the WWT Raceway. I'm sure that means something. Not sure what it does. The following is the dreaded, the feared Long Beach Street Circuit. I said dreaded. It's fantastic, but talk about fine margins. Go over and drive Long Beach in a Formula in IndyCar. And we move on for round 5 to the Brickyard, to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Indy 250. Not quite the Indy 500. We move on to Termos de Rio Hondo. Underrated circuit, 100%. Formerly a MotoGP, well, most known as a MotoGP circuit. That's for round 6. Round 7 was a unique one. It was up to our drivers to vote in the Discord on what that race would end up being. It ended up being the Kansai GP circuit, also better known as Suzuka, which I think these cars are going to be pretty electric around there. And we'll finish out the season February 24th for the SOAP 250 at the Auto Club Speedway Oval. It's a lot to look forward to in this season, a lot to look forward to in this series, a lot to look forward to on America's Racing League. And it looks like Jeff H has the pace to make this an overtake on circuit. Do they have the fuel to go to 42? Does Thiago Lorena have the fuel to make it? Do they have the pace to stay ahead? They could have been saving that push to pass for these last handful of laps. I know there is that penalty, but still finishing ahead of your competitor on the circuit is there's certain bragging rights. 100%. It was Jeff H in the hunt, overtaking Elbow. He was in P10. It is fascinating to me that that IndyCar, along with this series, doesn't have blue flags. They don't exist. However, it is highly encouraged, and probably there's a bit of scrutineering on how you go about. You know, you don't have to let the faster car through, but probably should. Still the fastest lap belonging to Jeff H. Sergio Lorena, though, has come close. The gap's tumbling down. We'll go on board hood cam style with Jeff H. We'll stay on board with him for lap 39 of 42. See what it looks like towards the very end of this race. Maybe get a sense of how it can feel chasing down for a race victory. It's certain that Jeff's on those option tires, the quicker tire. Thiago Lorena going for the longer-lived primaries. I must say, hats off to Les Paul Obsession, our event manager for this series. Did a lot of work. I'm sure other people were involved in getting this series ready for this new season, and the changes they've made have truly made the strategy so much more interesting, so much more usable. These two have ran an alternate strategy the whole race, and they're still reasonably close together. Jeff H just has that greater amount of grip on that better tire. They're going to take their time most likely on the overtake. Maybe not. They're going to go for it into turn 8. Slam dunk move by our option ran current race leader. And unless there's some amount of calamity for this driver, the Apex Motorsports driver, it may be game over for Thiago Lorena in round 1, at least for the race victory. 2 laps remain. The race order as it stands going into the third to last lap is Jeff H. leading the field, Thiago Lorena second position, Sean Stewart in third, Matty Ice fourth, Piper fifth, Pacheco sixth, Sloth seventh, Groove Armada in eighth position, Magruder ninth, Elbow 10th, Les Paul Obsession 11th, Ryan Fisher in 12th. I will say, there is something to be said to win a race. First, you have to finish, because Ryan Fisher has been at the back of this field for this entire race. However, they've beaten out 13 other cars in terms of points position just by keeping it out of the wall. To finish first you have to finish. They may not be finishing first, but as it stands, they will be finishing this race. I'm still a bit shaken up from the lap 1 incident, I must admit. When I say shaken up, I'm impressed. I'm very impressed with the level of destruction, level of calamity that we experienced here on lap 1. Unbelievable stuff. I think it may have been a bit of a connection problem, a bit of netcode. It's sort of put down to something of that nature, and hopefully that doesn't happen again. Because that cost about 5 or 6 drivers a chance to fight in this race. Many more have followed, be it from meeting Barrier. Well, I think almost entirely all of them have met Barrier. Too much damage on the car, losing wheels, experiencing havoc. 12 drivers remain of the 25 starters, which is an impressive attrition rate. But as I said, Watkins Glen races a bit more like a street circuit than you'd expect. Those walls are close. There's really no gravel runoff. It's grass, Armco. In some cases, concrete, Armco. You make a mistake, Watkins Glen bites back. But the driver who's made no mistakes today at the Security Solutions Grand Prix of New York is Jeff H. 77 to give their full and legal name. Has not led the race for this entire, for the entirety of this race. Possibly has led less laps than Thiago Lorena. The car behind, but got the strategy right, maybe made less mistakes. And absolutely flew. Absolutely flew. 4 corners remain between Jeff H. and victory in round 1. Don't bin it now. Don't bin it now. Only a couple more to go. Turn 10 and turn 11 are the final countdown. It's Jeff H. getting ready to cross the line for their first victory of the season. And what a victory, what a circuit, what a drive from Jeff H. Thiago Lorena, that 10-second penalty, fortunately for us, doesn't decide the race, doesn't decide anything. After all, Thiago Lorena comes home in second position. We see a bit of donuts, a bit of burnout, say a bit. Plenty of that from Lorena. Pleased with their performance. Sean Stewart, the Security Solutions driver, will be the next to cross the line. Quite the gap, I must admit, from the top two to the rest of the field. I think there were collisions, longer pit stops, safety cars that really took this race away from a lot of people. But nothing doing. I was going to say Piper seemed like they might have had the pace to overtake Matty Ice in the closing stages. And, well, I apologize, but I missed it. But Stewart is your final podium driver of the day. We'll see if it's going to be a photo finish between these two as they round the final corner. Not quite a photo finish. It's Piper in fourth, Matty Ice in fifth, and all other drivers were on a separate lap. So naturally, the race ground to a halt. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I wouldn't pay too much attention to the results as I'm staring at it because it currently says that Matty Ice is won the race. And I'm not sure if that's what happened. And I find that a bit hard to believe. I believe the results as they stood were Jeff H. winning, Lorena second, Stewart third, Piper fourth, Matty Ice fifth, Sloth sixth, Pacheco seventh, Groove Armada eighth, Randy Magruder in ninth, Elbow in 10th, Les Paul Obsession 11th position, Ryan Fisher 919 12th, Crazy Mittens 13th, Mayo Reels 14th, Degoosh 15th, Deuce Pox 16th, Gabriel Prado 17th, second place Merchant 18th, It's No Use 19th, retiring on lap 10. That's a car to watch. There was a lot of pace behind that car. Possible victor in the coming rounds. Rafafa 20th, Zigzag Bruno 21st, Trucks in History 15th. Sorry, why did I say 15th? Who's in 15th? Degoosh is in 15th. Trucks in History 22nd position. More Deploy in 23rd, and Yol Lotti finishing the final finisher that still remains in the session. I was incorrect. It's Oslo Visatonki, the last finisher of the race. And it seems everybody stayed in the session. Nobody left. Everybody wanted those points. They all waited around. They all watched. They all listened. And ladies and gentlemen, that will bring to a close round one of the Formula USA 2026 season one here on America's Racing League. Thank you for joining us. I promise it's only up from here as far as broadcasting and commentary perspective. Hopefully next week, I'm crossing my fingers, I don't have to do this all on my own. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. Have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you are. And we will see you all soon.